Our topic for today is about PHP programming, and we will tackle what is the purpose of the session. So session, just like functions or program, just by the PHP engine to store information across the websites. So this is very important if you are creating your protective coding for different websites, so that of course intruders cannot access it. Now, without much further ado, we'll start with our session. So the commands for the sessions are the following. This is your string session, and of course you have to declare your variable for the session, same time the value for the session. Now let's create, of course, a scenario wherein we can use the session in two programs. So we're going to create two PHP programs, the first session and second session, that will of course retrieve information from the first program. So we start first with a PHP program. Okay, now before we start with the session, we will use, of course, the session underscore start. So the purpose of this is, of course, you're starting your session, and the session will be stored into a special program of the PHP wherein it will create hash file, and then store information for later retrieval. Like, for example, we will create a variable for the session, string session, and then we have here a variable for that. Okay, so let's say we have the variable for XX. Now this is now the XX now will follow the value of this variable. Let's say the variable for this is Arnold. Okay, so this is the variable for the session. Now what will happen is we're gonna fix the session to another side of the program, and then we're gonna print, of course, the value of this session. So we will check it out here. Okay, let me first fix this one and then move here. Okay, we'll change this first to PHP syntax. Now, if this is now your session, we're gonna use this condition. If, let's say, string, if I set, and then we have here string session, open parentheses, and then we have here XX. Okay, so if I set section, meaning to say we are instigating that, of course, the session is alive, and we will, what you call this, create a condition here. So the condition will be like, of course, we're gonna print if the session is Arnold, if the Arnold is stored to this variable XX, meaning to say we have the session started. Now we will print the session. Okay, let's say, okay, mark this session. Okay, this will be our message, and at the same time, of course, we're gonna end it right here. Let's say, okay. All right, now let's check and run the program. So we have the session from the top. Okay, now we'll save this program file, and then we'll save it, of course, to our program. So P1, let us run the program here, the other side. All right, and then we're gonna open another program. Okay, localhost, and then I open my project here. The name of the project is p1.php. Okay, so we have the problem right now. Syntax errors inspected in line 8. So what is that line 8? Let us check it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, meaning to say, of course, we were not able to close the statement in proper way. So we need to put here or close parentheses. Okay, let us save it again. File, save, and then move it here. Oops. And then we're going to refresh that. Okay, mark this session. Now this session is already marked. Meaning to say, of course, the session is stored now to the PHP engine, wherein if you create another program or maybe creating another website for the page, it won't be deleted as long as you have the session start. So the reverse for the session start is the session underscore destroy. So when you're creating the session, of course, you need to create adequate program to destroy the session in order for the program to erase all the markings of the data that has been stored to the machine. Now, for example, this is now our session. Okay, echo mark this session. Now let us provide some ornamental sign here. Okay, so it's mark this session. Then H1. Okay, so this is now the program. File, save. Okay, let us move to the program. Let us refresh this. Mark this session. Now we will check if this variable for this global array functions of the PHP. This is a global statement of the PHP. So the value of this XX session variable is Arnold. Let us check if this XX can hold in another program for the PHP. Let us create another program on the other side, new file. Now let us check. And then we will, what you call this, the purpose of this is to print the session on the other side of your program. Let's assume that is another program for your website. Okay, view. Let us check this view statement here. And then we have the syntax. Okay, this is PHP. Now let us print if the session is functioning. Okay, let us go here, session start. Now always remember that you start your session at the top of the code. All right, at the top of the code. Now we have the session start here. At the same time, let us check if the session is alive. So I will print echo, remembering you as the owner of this site. Okay, and then we will provide here, of course, we will print up that session. What is that session name? Well, of course, the session name here is, of course, this is your what? XX. All right, so let us print it here. So we have the print a session and then single quotation. Now, what happened if you put a double quotation? Well, in the older version, I think this is accepted, but again, well, in proper programming, we're gonna use what? Single quotation. Okay, so we need to use the XX right here, echo session. Now, after that, what will happen? Always remember that session start is always infused at the start of a program. If you have four, of course, separated files, well, separate programs, then you will put also the session start and in every PHP, in your every PHP program. Now, next is, of course, we're gonna close this thing. So remembering you as the owner of the session, of the site. When you say this will what? Print the name of the owner. I will save this again, okay? Save as. And then we're gonna put here, of course, P2. Okay, let us run it again here. Okay, let us run this program. Now, before that, of course, we will create another program here. What's another program? This is to create, a program that will allow us to clear all the sessions. So we will create this first new file, and then, of course, we'll start, okay, PHP, then echo, let's say we have here echo from H1, and then just let's put an ornament here, color, then blue. Okay, so this is our what you call this session destroyer. Okay, so we have our session destroyer right here, and then oops. So we have to put here, of course, session destroyer. And then we're gonna close it right here, H2. But if you don't know how to write this PHP program, how to use the expression, you can still visit. You can visit my YouTube channel, and then check, of course, my previous lesson in PHP programming. Okay, so we will convert this to PHP. Okay, so how to start the session and how to end the session. So session start, and then we're gonna put here session what? Underscore what? Destroy. This is how we clear up the session. Basic statement for creating the session. Okay. Now we will again, as a matter of fact, you can use the print statement. Okay, just like this is similar to the echo statement. So session cleared up. Okay, that's it. Now we will save this program. Okay, file, and then save as. And we will what you call use the word, of course, clear or CL point or CL only. Okay, now let's go back to that program. Okay, what will happen right now is we're gonna run this program. We have to use, of course, the CL first. Okay, this is to clear up the session. CL point PHP. So we have session cleared up. Now let us start to run now this program. What is this program? This program will call the file here. So just imagine you're creating a database program. Same time you store the information in your database program as part of the session. And when somebody opens the website in another page, then of course session will start to monitor that, and of course session won't allow if that program, the first program, primary program, won't be open. Okay, so we have the session start in the second page. We have also to start the first page. So the purpose of this is to store the session in the first page, and second session is to recall what happened in the first page. Okay, now we will run this program here. Okay, so we have already what you call this instigated the session destroy. So we're gonna put here point PHP. So we have here the mark session. Next is, of course, we're gonna go right here, point PHP. Remember our P2 point PHP. This will recall the first variable in that first session. So the second program here is to recall that session in the first part of the program. So we need to say the output is Arnold. Okay, so that is our expectation for the next program. Now we will run this PHP 2, expect that, of course, remember you as the owner of this site. That is Arnold. As you can see, this is the owner. Okay, so that's the purpose of using the session. All right.